Alright guys, so here we are with Rick Lee, the owner of this beautiful bright orange McLaren Senna right here. And we're going to talk to him a little bit to know what it's really like about this car, what do you have to do to get something like this car, and just a few more general questions, so take it away.
Alright, Rick, well, first of all, thank you so much for giving us this
Thank you for
opportunity.
having me.
There's nothing like seeing a car like this, the number 3 McLaren Senna ever made in person. So let's just start off by tell us about yourself. What brought you to owning this car? What was that journey like?
Oh, so I actually just got this car probably a couple of months ago. I was not the first owner. The first owner actually lives in California.
Okay.
He had to sell for his reasons, and then I had the opportunity to acquire it. I was not in the market for a Senna. I was just looking, and then I have seen the Kiwi before, and I really like the Kiwi. But then there's odd colors out there, like the green, and then and I had the yellow one. I had the yellow 720S. So I just wanted something similar, and then this, I saw this online. I called them. Actually, there was somebody in front of me.
Okay.
And they were not fast enough.
So you had to beat him to it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously this is an extremely rare car and you're going to see those fights and bids for it because number 3 of 500 of an already limited size, it's the third one ever built, which is crazy. And it's honestly, I'm just in shock to be this close to the car in general. So when you were looking at Sennas, you said you weren't really looking to buy a Senna at the time, but once you realized that maybe you were considering to buy this specific Senna, did you consider maybe looking into cars like the P1 that are in a somewhat similar price range?
Yes, and yes and no. So I had quite a bit of McLarens, and then P1s, they are a little older. Same price. I would rather get something that's a little newer. It's just the same thing, right? The 765 is going to come out and it's going to be just as fast. A third of the price.
Yeah.
So I would prefer something something like this. I mean, when they first came out, they were on the market for 1.8. And then dipped quite a bit because of the pandemic. There was a period within the pandemic that the automobiles were not selling that well.
Okay.
And then so I just saw it was the right price. I took advantage of it.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So did you look at any other cars, other hypercar competitors? So not even a P1, but the 918 or a LaFerrari or something like that.
Yes, I did look at a 918. There was one in Manhattan Motor Cars, which I bought my Urus and my Performante from. They have one. They have a black one, 15 miles, brand new, almost brand new.
Wow.
There was, from what I was told, it was a gift from Porsche to the owner of that company because they sold so many.
Yeah.
My wife didn't really like that one.
Okay.
I really like the LaFerrari. They dipped a lot in prices too.
Okay.
But then I cannot justify paying over sticker for it. I mean, sticker is 1.6.
Yeah.
They're selling it. I mean, even at with the dip, it's 2.7, 3.
Right.
I just can't.
Wasn't justified.
Yeah, I
That makes
just can't
sense.
justify it.
That makes sense.
So if you don't mind me asking, how much was this specific Senna?
This is just $1 million.
Okay, so just at the mark.
Flat. Yeah.
That's a great deal.
It's a great deal. I mean, personally, I don't think
I mean,
really
they
see the value.
dipped below MSRP. And this one was 1.1. It went below. I mean, it went as high as 1.8.
Okay.
So it was the huge dip that went below MSRP. That I bought it. I've never bought any other car that's above MSRP. If I mean, I really like the new Mustang GT500.
Okay,
And when then somebody tried to sell me above, I said no, it's a Ford.
Yeah.
No, I will not
We
pay.
don't overpay for the American
I am not
cars.
gonna. I mean, there's a reason. There's a suggested retail price.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So,
fair.
yeah.
That's good logic. I think it's really interesting to realize that even when you're paying hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, that you're still staying really true to sticking at MSRP or below. That's huge, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I had the newer Edition 1 G-Wagon that when it first came out, it was 100,000 above market. I
Wow.
got it at a little bit below.
Okay.
I drove it for 6 months. I sold it. I made money.
Nice.
But then if it was ever above, I would have never gotten it.
makes sense.
I just couldn't justify. I have no problem spending money. I have a lot of problem wasting them.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart. I like that philosophy.
Yeah,
That's a good quote.
That's a really good quote, honestly. So the Senna is one of McLaren's most special cars they offer, and it's currently their top of the line in terms of their newest cars on the market. So is there any special perks that McLaren gives you for owning a car like this?
To be honest, not really.
Okay.
I mean, because I would assume that if it was the original owner, they probably get something similar. I mean, my first McLaren was a 570,
Okay.
and then there was a little bit something wrong with it, and then I traded it in for a 720. They offered me a 600 LT, which I didn't purchase at the time. But did the right move because initially I wanted to, because we all know that the 675 LT went above market. I wanted to, but I didn't. And then now that I got a 600 LT Spider that at a good price, it was a demo. So if I'm the first owner, I got 30% off.
Wow,
That's pretty good. Two McLarens, 600 LT and the Senna. So between the two of them, I mean, obviously there's a huge price difference and a huge feature difference. But which one do you prefer over the two?
I mean, it depends. I mean, Senna is really cool and all.
Yeah.
When I bought it, I never test drove it.
Okay.
So I saw it. The sales rep from Newport Beach, he actually flew over to deliver the car to me.
of course.
And he was very nice, very professional. But then the big difference is this car, you kind of hear that every little pebble that's on the floor, every leaf.
I noticed that, while riding in it.
Yeah, so it's you're under a lot of pressure when you drive it. You're like, oh, what did I hit this time? But you didn't hit anything. It's just the road and it's just the insulation, the sound insulation. That's how it goes. But it's uncomfortable. I'm gonna put it this way: it's uncomfortable. There's a reason all these cars out there that don't have a lot of miles because it really is uncomfortable. I mean, I had a GT3 RS, the same seat as the 918. It's more comfortable than this. I mean, the seats. It's actually not too bad, but like I said, it's just you have to be very careful with everything you do. I mean, even the 600 LT, but then it kind of blends in.
Got it.
Yeah.
So speaking of rough rides and things like that, the roads around here and with winter coming, a lot changes. The roads are not always the best. There's potholes, and with the winter and this being rear-wheel drive, that can be hard. What do you do with these cars when it starts getting cooler outside?
Yeah, so I have a warehouse. I put them in the warehouse.
And they just take a winter sleep.
Yeah, I just wash them, put it in, cover it up, plug it in, so that it's fine. But I know most of the time, just put it in the warehouse. There's no point driving this in the winter anyway, even if it's just cleared. But then there's salt, and there's always the chance. I mean, this is a Trofeo tire, so you don't really want to drive it. You don't really want to drive it, in the colder weather, let alone snow. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So the Senna is a dream car for a lot of people, and you have a few other cars. You have the 600 LT, the Urus, the SVJ.
So the list goes on.
It's an insane list, and honestly, if I were to name every dream car, most of my favorite automakers, I'd probably find them in your garage. But so considering the fact that they're dream cars for most people, what is your next dream car beyond what you currently own?
I mean, that's a good question. At some point, I just since I bought this car, I actually stopped looking. To be honest, all of this cars is not really that practical. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, occasionally the weather's really nice, you want to take it out for a spin, go cruising with your friends. I mean, that's fine, but it's just really not practical. Do I? If I don't drive it, would I miss driving it? No. When I first got this, I drove it the day I got it, and I didn't drive it for a month.
Wow.
And when I got in, the battery was really low. I was like, I have to drive it now. But it's that. I mean, like I was telling you guys just now, when you don't have it, you really wanted it. When you have it, it's really just a car. And it sounds cocky, but it's not. It really is just a car. I mean, and then people ask me, would you let your wife drive it? Would you, I mean, yes. Why not? Right? Like I said, it's just a car. But I also have a philosophy because I also have friends that wanted to borrow them. I say, sure, you can borrow them. You break them, you buy them.
Okay, yeah. Fair policy. Fair policy.
So after this, I'll take it out for a I can trade you the Tesla.
Yeah, we'll just do a quick trade. I don't. The insurance might cover it. We'll see about that.
Maybe the wheel.
We won't worry about it. But
so you mentioned you do take it out for drives. There are some of your other supercars that you'll daily drive. What's a daily drive like? Do you take it grocery shopping? Do you go through drive-thrus at McDonald's? What's that like?
So driving through it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Except for this, right? The window, it looks big, but actually it's just
It's the
it's
cellular
just
part.
like this. You can't
Yeah.
even get the Starbucks in. And then I like to go to the Starbucks on what is that? Right
Road
near the levee.
Yeah.
Over there. I go there a lot, but then it's very hard to make the turn because most drive-through is really narrow.
Yeah.
So it's harder. It's not impossible. The Wendy's,
fiber.
yeah, the Wendy's out near my place. I mean, yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
But then you kind of have to reach up a little bit, and then I can't go to self car wash alone because you can't reach.
Right.
Put your credit card in. So if I go with a friend. He'll
they
go
can
in
get-
first and he'll stand there.
Problems that no one would expect that you would have.
It's just very tough to. You have to. You just have to do this, and it's just really tough.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So, day to day, you typically, what's your like daily driver then, if you're not driving the Senna?
Yeah, I used to have a Ford Raptor.
Okay.
As of today, I still had it until I traded in for the RS6. I traded it in because it wouldn't fit into the garage. I mean, just wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, daily driving it. I would say Performante is pretty good for daily. It's really comfortable. Mine doesn't have the extreme track sport seats. It's just the regular seats. But like I said, this car kind of draws a little bit of attention, and I will, most of the time I don't really like those kind of attention. So, that's why I got the Raptor.
Right.
But then, as an Asian in the Raptor, you get a lot of
You get a
attention too. So so I got the RS6. I mean, most people wouldn't tell unless you're really a car guy. It's just a wagon, just another wagon Audi.
But it's a very
RS6.
fun car to daily drive,
Yeah.
I assume. So 3 insane track cars: the Huracan Performante, the Aventador SVJ, and the McLaren Senna.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 3 cars, so do you like track them ever?
No, I don't. And I didn't say it because insurance told me not to, but but I really don't. I mean, I know that I'm not the most skilled driver in the world, so I wouldn't do that. I mean, would I want to one day? Sure. If I have the spare time, if I took classes and I do that, would I want to do it? Of course,
Okay.
I would love to.
Yeah.
But at this stage in my life, no, I wouldn't. Just not that skilled enough. If somebody want to race me on the street, no, I wouldn't, because like I said, I'm just not that skilled enough. And even if I am, somebody else might not.
Yeah.
So safety first.
Yeah, and that's very surprising to like someone like me that sees these supercars and these hypercars, and you mentioned like you're such a safe driver, like you follow the speed limit, you follow the rules of the road. So related to that, you kind of mentioned, and we chatted about this earlier, I asked you what it's like on the road when you're driving this car and people are around you. Now you just mentioned that sometimes people will try to race you. Is there any you're driving up in a metropolitan area with a lot of traffic? What's that like? Do you have to sit in rush hour traffic with this? Do people cut you off? What's that like?
Cut me off now, but then most of the people don't give way to you. If you're doing a left turn, they don't. They really don't. I don't know. There'll always be another truck that stop by and then start revving it and want you to rev it.
Yeah.
I don't do that because if like I said, even if I want to, if it's on a hill, you put it in the end and then you'll start sliding back. I mean,
Right.
it's just unneeded.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, really, you want to race me in the truck? I mean,
Not much of a competition.
sure. I mean, like I said again, the safety first. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And and I don't mind people taking pictures. I don't mind other individuals approach me and ask me questions. What I don't like, I don't prefer, is there's always that one guy that come to me and like, your parents must like you very much. I'm like, and I laugh, and that's the end of it, because some individuals, even if you tell them the truth, they don't care. They want to hear what they wanted to hear to make themselves or anybody else feel better.
Right.
I mean, so I wouldn't really care. If somebody really want to raise me, I will, hi, and then I would just look forward, pretend I don't see them, so I wouldn't need to raise them.
Got
But
it.
there's those, awkward pauses
Yeah. At
that you
lights.
get. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, do I speed? Yes. I don't always follow the speed limit. but I don't race.
Right.
I drive a little like everybody else. If it's a 70, I might go to 80.
Yeah.
But
That's it. Nothing
Yeah.
crazy.
The average restraint that anyone would
Yeah.
have.
So I know a lot of people are definitely dying to know. You have this incredible car collection, and a lot of us want to have enough resources, let's say, to have a car collection or even one of these cars. What does it take? What do you recommend that people do go out there and do if cars are their hobby and they want a car like this someday? What has gotten you here, and what advice do you have for them?
So the truth is, and you know, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people always think it's funny. The truth is, my parents are wealthy. I don't have a student loan to pay for my college. I don't have a lot of allowance. I didn't get a really cool car. My first car and the last car they ever bought me was a 2012 Volkswagen Tiguan. It was white and beige inside. That's the first car and the last car they ever bought
Just
me.
a regular car.
Yep. And when I graduated, when I sold the car, I gave them, you know, they took whatever the value of the car is, they took it back. It's just that. I would say I work really hard. I wouldn't say there's no luck. There is luck, and there's individuals that help me along the way. You know, everybody have their mentor, their friends, they supported them. You know, I have all that. I was just fortunate enough that I have people around me that supported me. You know, maybe our goals is different. Maybe they don't like cars, but this is just my hobby, right?
Yeah.
Some girls like shoes, some like bags. You know, some people like hunting, and this is just
Cars
what I
is your
like.
thing, right.
Yeah, and you know, I used to dress fancy when I was younger, you know, like all the other Asian kids on campus. I don't anymore.
Okay.
It's just, I'm way past that I need to show you what I got kind of thing.
Right.
But I do work really hard. I have roughly 70 employees. I have 9 businesses. And I sleep from time to time, but I sleep from 3 to 6 in the afternoon every day, so that I can do business in Asia when everybody else is asleep.
Wow.
And that's the thing; it doesn't guarantee you success, but it gives you a chance. I mean, you work hard, you want that chance, then that's what you got to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's really great advice. Definitely a perspective that I know a lot of people don't expect, to go from a Volkswagen Tiguan to
McLaren Senna.
That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's really how bad you wanted it, and instead of focusing on what somebody else have or don't have, or family background. See, that's the thing. I'm not ever gonna apologize because my parents have money.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong. And those who criticize, they're hypocrites because they just want to be like that too. Just they don't have it. They hate on it, which is fine. I mean, it's all preference on what you want and what you don't want. But what the biggest take that they don't know is that when I grew up, my parents always tell me, there's a lot of beautiful things in life. If you want them, you work for them. When I was younger, if I want something, I wash cars for my dad. I wash the windows in the house. I mean, I have a maid, but my dad would tell them that no, you will not wash them today. My son will do it, and that's how I make my allowance. It's not handout. It's never like that.
You have to work for it.
Yeah, and they have been through their startup phase, and that's how they educate me, and that's why I keep telling everybody education is really important. Not academic. Academic education is very, very different. Academic is go to school.
Yeah.
You get A's.
Yeah.
But education is different. It's the mindset,
Okay.
which I think that's really important. You just have to have the right mindset. I mean, have I ever feel down and want to give up? Yes, absolutely. But, you just keep working hard on it. But my mentality is always this. There was a point in my life every day before I go to bed, I'm like, shoot, I want to give up. I want to give up. And I went to bed, I woke up in the morning, and I said, okay, what if today's the day, right? And then every time you give yourself a little bit of hope, every night it gets a little worse. But then that's where your friends come in. That's where the supports come in. And, that's when they support you and give you that little boost. And, be nice to everybody because you never know what you say can make somebody's day or break it. I mean, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's really great advice. So I have to say, to follow that up, you're really young. You've achieved so much. You just graduated college in 2015, and you have this insane collection just a few years later. What's next for you? What's on the horizon?
To be honest, and that's the thing. It's not about having the liquidity to do something. It's about it's about the time. Right. When I first started, I had the I had a big goal, right? My goal is like everybody else. I want to make a lot of money. I don't care how, but I just want to make a lot of money. So that was my intention, and then I acquired businesses left and right, took on a lot of responsibility, want to jump into every opportunity that I see. And this is kind of where I am right now. During the day, I work at my office and take calls, and at night I call China, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Taiwan, everywhere, just trying to make things work. But then, to be honest, I would like to stop. Just take a break.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the last time I don't have to look at my phone. Go on the plane, get out of the plane, first thing, turn on the phone, and just want to look. What if somebody can't reach me, and most of the time somebody's trying to reach me, and this type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off, right? So what's next? I really wanted to stop, but I can't. The reason is when I started all this business and other businesses I have abroad, I made my employees a promise of responsibility. I can't just quit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not how I do things. I would
Right.
like to slow down. I would like to grow a little bit more. I would like to have somebody I can trust to help.
Yeah.
But my full goal is to basically just fight on for another probably 5 years, find somebody suitable, not to replace me, but to work side by side, and just go from there. I think that will be a goal for me. I think that would be nice, and just spend more time with my family.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that was incredibly insightful. Definitely learned a lot about the car, learned a lot about what the lifestyle is like, honestly. I think most viewers are curious about that, like what goes into owning a hypercar, what do you do before, what's next? And I think you gave really a lot of insightful quotes about just hard work and education and how that's brought you to this level and how it is attainable for people. You know, you don't need this like insane start at the beginning. And I think that's really insightful, good advice. So thank you so much for being here and talking about this car.